If there's one thing I've learned watching guys crash and burn over and over with women, it's this. Most men are addicted to shortcuts. You think attraction is a trick, a move, a line. You're convinced that if you just say the right thing, or text at the perfect time, or wear the exact outfit, she'll magically decide you're the one. You want results without rhythm. But here's the truth. No girl ever fell in love because of a line. She falls in love in time. And you? You're too impatient to let the fire build. You want a microwave romance when she's wired for slow roast. You burn out fast and she never even got warm. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how women fall in love. Not from fantasy, not from rom-coms, but from real human behavior. And once you understand it, you'll finally stop chasing. You'll start becoming the man she wants to invest in. Let's begin where most guys screw up. They fall first, hard and fast. You saw her, you liked her, she laughed at your dumb joke, and suddenly you're making up names for your future kids. You're already emotionally in, you're picturing dates, cuddles, and Sunday mornings together. Meanwhile, she hasn't even decided if she likes your cologne. That's the imbalance. She's still cold, you're already cooked. This is the biggest asymmetry in male-female attraction. You catch feelings too quickly, and that makes you dangerous, not to her, but to yourself. Because when you're emotionally ahead, you become needy. You start optimizing your life around her. You change plans for her. You text first, you text twice, you triple text. You imagine what you want her to feel, and you react as if it's already real. That fantasy makes you blind. But women don't fall for fantasy. They fall for progress. And progress is slow, uneven, and deeply tied to one brutal word: investment. You want a girl to fall in love with you? Make her work for it. Not with manipulation, not with cruelty. With space, with structure, with rhythm. You've got to understand something. Emotional chemistry isn't something you create, it's something you build. Like a fire, it needs oxygen, it needs time, and most of all, it needs her effort. A woman values what she invests in, period. She values the man she texts back, the man she rearranged her schedule for, the man she dressed up for, the man she thought about before bed. You think buying her a drink wins points? You just taught her you're the one doing the chasing. But when she starts doing for you, initiating, preparing, contributing, that's when her brain starts rewiring, that's when you start mattering. But here's where it gets tricky. Most women aren't going to start investing on their own. You have to build the ladder and let her climb it. And that starts with something deceptively simple: compliance. At first it's light, polite. You ask her to pass the napkin, you suggest meeting at 4, you invite her to sit next to you. She says yes. Each yes is a thread, and threads become ropes. Most men ignore this stage or try to skip it. They go straight for the "we should be together" energy, but you can't skip attraction stages. You can't demand closeness before building compliance. And when those soft yeses become normal, you raise the bar. You stop asking, you start leading. Pass the napkin, sweetheart. We're meeting at 4. Come. It's not a command because you're arrogant. It's a command because you're sure of yourself. You've shown her she can trust your lead, and now you're claiming space. This is where she starts seeing you not just as a guy but as a man, the kind who doesn't apologize for being masculine. And then one day you don't ask, you take her hand, you pull her closer, you kiss her, slowly, firmly, with no hesitation. And she doesn't pull away, she leans in, because she's been saying yes with her words for a while, and now her body is catching up. But none of this works if you jump too fast. If you try to skip steps, she'll feel it. It'll feel forced. You'll kill the tension. She'll feel invaded instead of seduced. That's why you escalate slowly, not because you're afraid, but because you respect the process. And when you get to that stage where physical closeness happens naturally, you've reached a turning point. She starts to bond, not because you forced it, but because you gave her the structure to fall. But physical closeness isn't the real hook. You want something deeper? You want her obsessed. You need to occupy her mind. The real love story happens when you're not there. That's where rumination begins. That space between seeing her and texting her again. That's where she starts to feel something real. If you're always there, always responding, always reacting, she never gets to wonder. And without wondering, there's no tension. And without tension, there's no desire. You've heard it before, but you've never lived it. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. That only works when you've already made yourself unforgettable in her mind. So how do you live in her head when you're not around? You trigger rumination. You give her just enough to think about, and then you vanish. You leave her with a question, a mystery, an unfinished sentence. You give her a little chaos to chew on. She's in her room brushing her hair and suddenly thinks, why did he say that the way he did? She's at work, glancing at her phone, rereading that message you sent. Not because you told her to, but because she wants to. You've become her favorite puzzle. And the more she tries to solve you, the deeper she falls. The easiest way to anchor yourself in her mind: assign tasks. Tell her to bring something next time. Ask her to find a cool spot for your date. Get her involved in planning, choosing, preparing. It seems small, but now she's working for you. That mental bandwidth you're occupying, that's oxygen to her emotional fire. It's proof to her own brain that you matter. And then you layer on mystery. You never spell yourself out. You never dump your entire backstory on her in one night. You never let her think she knows everything, because the second she thinks she's figured you out, the chase is over. And the moment a woman stops wondering about you, she starts forgetting you. So let her question, let her wonder, let her feel that delicious uncertainty. Does he like me? Why hasn't he texted today? Is he with someone else? These aren't just thoughts. They're emotional anchors. Every moment she spends questioning you is another thread tying her closer, not through words but through emotional investment. And here's the dark part of the game, one most men aren't ready for. Emotional rumination doesn't just come from joy. Sometimes it comes from anger. Sometimes it comes from confusion. If you've ever had a woman mad at you for something small and then you patched it up, and suddenly she was way more affectionate afterward, that's rumination. That's emotional combustion. She stewed. She felt. She imagined a dozen scenarios. And when you came back calm, centered, grounded, it created a violent emotional swing toward love. But this isn't a toy. You don't play with anger like a tactic. You don't hurt her on purpose just to get a reaction. That's manipulation, and it always backfires long term. But you do need to be okay with the fact that sometimes friction creates fire. You don't need her to agree with you all the time. You don't need to keep her perfectly happy. You just need her to be emotionally active, thinking, reacting, responding. That's the current that pulls her in. And while she's spinning thoughts about you, trying to decode your last message, asking her friends what it means when a guy says X but doesn't call back right away, you've already mastered the third layer of investment: time. Here's the part no man wants to hear. You can't fake time. You can fake confidence. You can fake wealth. Hell, you can even fake charisma. But you cannot fake presence over time. That's why a woman will leave the guy with the mansion and the abs for the average guy she's laughed with, argued with, trusted, and touched for 6 months straight, because time rewires her. Time is gravity. You don't notice it until it's too late, and then you're already falling. A girl can sleep with you and feel nothing, but if she spends 20 hours with you over 2 weeks, laughing, walking, talking, sharing, it plants seeds. Seeds that don't bloom right away but always grow, and you don't need to. Constantly entertain her. You don't need to be a performing monkey. Just let her be around you, that's it. Sit in silence, drive in traffic, let her exist in your space. Because when she spends time with you, she's bonding, not consciously, not romantically, biologically. She's imprinting on you. But here's the twist. Time doesn't matter if you're the one always chasing it. If you're begging for her time, it's worthless. If she's choosing to spend her free moments with you, that's gold. So, you've got to flip the script. Stop begging for attention. Start becoming the man she rearranges her life to be near. How? You lead. You set the pace. You have a direction. And you never make her the center of your world. Because women don't want to be your world. They want to orbit a man who has one. You want her to fall in love? Then stop trying to convince her to feel something. Make her build it. Slowly, willingly, emotionally, over time. Every yes she gives you is another thread in the net. Every minute she spends talking to you, getting ready to see you, arguing with her friends about what you meant, that's investment. And investment isn't just a signal of interest. It creates interest. You don't believe me? Think about this. Ever notice how you care more about things you worked for? That shirt you hunted for in 5 stores? That car you saved up for all year? That project you bled over? You feel different about them. You respect them. You're emotionally attached. Same principle, same psychology. And women are wired for it even deeper because for them the emotional cost of romantic investment is higher. If she's giving her time, her thoughts, her body, her energy, it means something. She's building something inside herself. That's why the guy who makes her work for it, without being cold, without being an asshole, but with presence and direction, is the guy she can't forget. But here's the knife twist. Most men sabotage their own progress by rushing. You want the kiss too fast. You push for the date too soon. You text too much. You show her your whole emotional hand on day one. And what happens? She feels nothing. Not because you're not attractive, not because you're not interesting, but because you didn't give her time to invest. So many men confuse chemistry with compatibility. Chemistry is that early spark you feel, but compatibility? That's just structure and shared experience over time. Compatibility is built, brick by emotional brick. And if you're not building it slowly, intentionally, you're just another guy who passed through her life like vapor. Let me give you a brutal truth most guys never hear. A woman doesn't fall in love with you. She falls in love with the version of herself that starts showing up around you. If she feels beautiful when she's near you, if she feels excited, if she feels safe and challenged and feminine, that's the woman she wants to be. And she'll start chasing that feeling. She'll trace it back to the man. Who made her feel it? That's you, or at least it should be. But to get her there, you can't be desperate, you can't be reactive. You need to be polarizing. That means you're not for everyone. That means you're not constantly trying to be liked. You've got opinions, you've got standards, you disagree with her without flinching. You say no when it matters. You walk away if she disrespects you, because you know your worth. And that, more than pickup lines, money, muscles, or Instagram clout, is what pulls a woman in, because women are drawn to gravity. And gravity doesn't chase, it pulls quietly, relentlessly, without apology. You want her love? Then stop being so available, stop being so easy, make her invest, make her wonder, make her wait. Not forever, not cruelly, but just enough for her to start thinking, why am I thinking about him so much? That's the moment she tips. That's the moment you matter. That's when she's not just answering your texts, she's rereading them. She's telling her best friend about you. She's checking her reflection twice before seeing you. That's not manipulation. That's emotional momentum. And you earned it, not by chasing her, but by becoming the man she can't help but chase. Because here's what most guys never understand until it's too late. Attraction isn't about proving yourself to her. It's about giving her the space and structure to prove herself to you. You lead. She follows. You set the tone. She responds. You provide the firewood. She lights the flame. But the moment you try to be the flame yourself, she walks away. Because women don't fall in love with desperation. They fall in love with direction. You've been giving too much, too fast. You've been the open book, the eager puppy, the fix-her-fast therapist, and it's killing your chances. So stop. Let her earn your story. Let her earn your affection. Let her build her own feelings. That's when love becomes real. That's when you stop chasing and start choosing.